Come on in, sweet friends. We're going to make this Easter spring banner. I've got my supplies, my markers, my pens, just an inexpensive pack of markers. If you have Tombos, use those. Use what you have. If you have watercolor, use your watercolor. Use whatever is inspiring you. We're going to use this as an example, So we're going to make we're going to alternate. We're going to make a banner. We're going to do some big flowers and some carrots, and we're going to alternate them. And we're going to write the words "Be Hoppy" on them. So what I need to do is make myself 4 flowers and 3 carrots. I'm just going to use this mixed media paper. The sizing of it is going to be perfect for what I need. I've got some jute or some twine. You can use ribbon if that is what you have. Use what you have. This is going to be adorable. So I'm just going to open up my book, and I'm going to take, this is really thick paper. This is the Strathmore Mixed Media. I'm just going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets of this for my flowers, and I need 1, 2, 3 for my carrots. So I'm going to set them aside. 4 flowers, 3 carrots. Now, if you like carrots better than you like flowers and you want to flip-flop that, you can do that, okay? So we are just going to use our water brush and our markers as watercolor. You need a pair of scissors, and like I said, glue, a piece of string or ribbon, a brush marker if you do want to brush them on. If not, you can use the regular marker that comes in the set of markers that you might have. You can use a Sharpie. Use what you have. So I don't necessarily want these all to be the same. So I'm just going to work. Like I said, I know I need 4 flowers. So I'm just going to take 1. And I'm going to draw a circle. It does not have to be a circle. It can be an oblong. We're just going to keep it a little bit simple. But I'm just going to I'm going to use the kids' set of markers because I want you to be able to use whatever you might have on hand. So I'm just going to grab this, set it to the side. I'm going to start off with some of this hot pink. I might pair the hot pink and the orange together. I'm going to leave a ring in the center of the flower open. The flowers that I'm picturing for this are kind of either like, it's a ranunculus, but we're not going to get stressed about flowers. It could be, you could be wanting to do a rose or substitute a flower of your choice, right? So what I'm going to do is take a marker, and I'm going to go, and I'm just going to go around, and I want to leave a little bit of room on the sides because I like to cut them out. Now remember, we're going to cut them out like these. All right, so I'm just going to go around. I did a ring, and I'm just going to make some C shapes with my marker. I don't necessarily want this to be a perfectly round flower. I'm going to take my orange now, and I'm just going to put a few little C or smile shapes around the flower. I want them to overlap. I don't want them to be perfect. Okay, so we're just going to do this, and we can make some thicker than the others. I'm going to thicken up some of my pink ones because I want this to be more pink than orange. I mean, this is where we just have fun. I'm going to get my big old paintbrush. I'm just going to lay that water on the paper, and I'm just going to start swirling that around and let it activate the ink that I just put on there from my marker. Okay, I might have to sit and soften it up a bit with the water, but put the water on and just let the water do what watercolor does. Now, if you're not loving the effect of it this way, I'm going to show you another way to do this. With that, you would need like a paper plate or the back of a baggie, you know, like you put your baggies like to store food in. And then I would take my marker and I would just put a whole bunch of that here on the paper. On the paper plate, whatever colors that I'm using. And then I would come in here. So there's two ways of doing this. I'm then going to hit this with water from my brush. And then I can come in and draw that floral shape and just keep coming back over here and putting that in like just C shapes, right? So I can spread that out. The more water that I use, the lighter the color will be. Now, then the fun part, I can come over and get some of the orange. You just want to use colors that work together. We want complementary colors that work together. They complement, well, not necessarily complementary colors, but we want colors that work well and blend well together. And I'm just going to mix some of this bright pink with some of the orange. See how that just gives me two different versions of that flower. So I can just keep coming back and adding more watercolor. The fact that this is not watercolor paper, it will sometimes affect the way the marker spreads, the way the ink sticks to the paper, and then you might see the lines of the marker, but then we're going to let it dry, or we'll make it dry. So I'm going to make this dry real quick. Okay, so that's pretty dry. And they kind of look almost like an iced donut, right? It looks like we're looking down at an iced donut. So here are the two. This is the lighter, more watercolor, very light wash of watercolor-esque look. This one is a bit brighter. So depending on which you like, you can make your flowers however you see fit. I'm going to come back in with some more of that. Now that it's dry, I'm going to come back in with some more of that pink, and I am going to just fill in a few more C shapes with that. If you look at a ranunculus, they're really tightly woven around a center point of, they're like a really tightly wound rosebud. So I just want to simulate that really tight layers of petals and petals and petals and petals and petals. So I can alternate between pink and orange again. And as you can see here, I'm working really quick. As long as you're going in a circular shape and it's in some way looks like either a donut or an inner tube, you're doing it right. So don't stress, right? So I'm just gonna take my water again now, and I'm gonna wet this again. I'm just going to activate the ink from that marker again. Okay. And I'm going to let it dry. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to make two more flowers. So I'll speed the video up a little bit, but I'm All right, so we have our 4 basic flowers, and I ended up doing them all pink and orange. You can do whatever colors you want to do. And I did it that way because in the center of these flowers, I want to come in here and I want to put a circle of some yellow inside of each one. And then I'm gonna hit it a little bit. I'm not gonna take it all the way out to the flower petals, but if you do, it's fine. I'm just gonna fill in the centers of those flowers with some of that yellow. Okay, just a little. The more marker you put, the brighter the yellow will be. And if you don't go dark enough the first time, you can always go back in and put more. But if you like that watercolor look, you don't have to go real thick. You can come back when it's wet, but it won't work as well when you go back, right? So then we want to dry that. So we'll dry that really quickly. We can leave this as is, or we can put in a few dots of green. And so you can pause the video. Now, while they're drying, we are going to work on 3 carrots. So I want my carrots to be sort of big, but they're not going to be quite as big as the flower, and they're going to be skinny. These carrots that we're doing today are going to be more on the skinny side. So we're going to use some red and some orange to make our carrot. I am going to just start off with my red. And let's see, I'm gonna make them, we're gonna go diagonal on the paper. So I'm just gonna draw like a curve, almost like a flattened C. And then I'm gonna come down here to the point. We're just gonna draw a very elongated triangle. Think of a carrot, the snowman's nose. And I'm just gonna take the side of my marker and I'm just gonna color that in a bit. I like that red. It's gonna give it a nice pop. And then I'm gonna go back in with my orange and I'm gonna fill that in the rest of the way. I can leave some of the white there. That's just gonna give me that look of watercolor. So I'm gonna take my brush, right? And you can take your time with this, but I want you to see that it can be quick and easy and you do not need to spend a lot to have a really cute pieces of decor hanging in your home. Okay, so there's the carrot. And then basically I'm gonna take these green markers here again, and we're just gonna do a couple of lines up and out. You can do as many as you want, but just do a couple. And then also I'm gonna use just a little bit of that darker green in spots. Water on my brush and activate the green. Now, that may hit some of the orange of the carrot, which is fine, and I'm not staying within my lines. It's all gonna be okay. So now you wanna do 3 more carrots, and as soon as they're dry, I'll be right back. All right, so we are back. We've got our 3 very simple basic carrots and our 4 flowers. And then basically we're gonna cut these out. So I'll show you the way I cut these out. You don't go real close to your painting. I like this white border around them. Again, this is your project. You do it your way. But to me, they look like faux stickers this way, and I just think they're stinking adorable. So this is what I do. I just cut quickly around each shape, and I'm not spending an awful lot of time trying to make them perfect. So I'll cut each of them out. All right, so I'm back. We have all of our flowers and our carrots cut out. I kind of like this monochromatic look. These are like some of my favorite colors for spring, but when you make yours, feel free to mix them up, do them in different colors. So I've just put them in line because I'm going to write on here, be hoppy. So I'm alternating. So I did flower, carrot, flower, carrot, flower, you get it. So I'm gonna take the first one and I'm gonna put it here. And I'm just gonna set the other ones to the side. And I'm gonna use my hole punch, if I can find it. Okay, here's my hole punch. So I'm just gonna come in here, right? Just figure out what you want the top of your flower to be, right about here. And I'm going to just punch 1. And we'll do 2 little holes. It doesn't have to be perfect. You put them where you want them to be. And then this is where I do lettering. Now, I like a mix of funky printed with hand lettered, or, you know, the cursive type font. This is where you get to come in here and use and make your creativity shine. So I'm gonna just come right on here on top of this flower, and I'm gonna print just a funky B. Okay, and I'm just using the black kids marker, like a Crayola. There's nothing fancy about this. I'm not using a brush pen, and I'm just gonna thicken some areas of my B. You can do this in like big bubble letters. I'm gonna bring that out just a bit. I like that funky look. Okay, does not need to be perfect in any way. And then I like to just come around with the tip of the marker, and I like to do my wonky outlining. I can come in and put, and you guys, if you've followed me for long, you know the messier the circles and the lines are, the better. There is nothing perfect about this, and I don't want there to be. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to do this maybe 2-3 times. I'm using the tip of the marker. I'm letting it be wonky. And I'm going to do the same around my leaves. It can cross over, and I don't want perfect lines. So there's my B, and then I know my next letter is going to be the E. So I want to figure out, do I want my carrot this way or do I want it this way? I'm going to do mine this way. So I'm going to do 2 quick little hole punches up here on the greenery of the carrot. And I'm going to just flip my B over. It's dry. And we're just going to set her there. And then I'm going to do my E. And my E, I'm going to do really tall and kind of skinny and funky. I like funky. Right, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to use the side of that Crayola or kids marker to just thicken up some of the lines until you're happy with it. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to, I like the outline. I'm just going to outline my carrot tops and my carrot very quickly. Right? I love the look. I love this look. If you don't like the black outline, feel free to leave it off. I do like that black outlined look. So I'm going to just take that and flip that over. My next one will be H. I'm going to look. All right, so I did my greenery going this way on that one. I'm going to do my greens going this way. And I'm just going to come in, pop 2 more hole punches in the top, and I'm going to do a cursive H. So I'm going to come in, up, over. So just make a cursive H, and I'm going to come back in now and thicken any lines that would be going downward to make it look like brush lettering. This is hand lettering. Okay, so this is up. I'm going to leave it on the thin side. We know coming down, I'm going to make this thick and just have them meet up nicely. I mean, I can thicken the whole thing. Right, so there's my H. Now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to come around and do the thin line on my flower. And the outline of my leaves. Okay, and you get the drift. So there's the H. Another carrot. I'm gonna take this carrot and put hole punches. I'm gonna kind of do right at the top of the carrot. We know this one is gonna be an O if you're doing be hoppy, or you can do an A if you're doing be happy. I'm gonna do be hoppy because I'm gonna use this for Easter decor. You can always make a new carrot after Easter and replace with an A for happy. So I'm just gonna do my outlines. Sometimes I'm gonna stop and do, it almost looks like it's sewn. The lines can break. They don't have to all touch. Right, you get the drift. So just have fun. So there's our O. I'm gonna do my flower this way. This P, I'm going to do like a cursive P. So I'm gonna come in, up. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna come up, over, and out. And then I'm gonna thicken any areas here where it would go down. So when I pull, when I'm writing and I'm coming down, those are those spots that I'm gonna make thick. So this is up. I can thicken it a little bit, but I don't want it very thick. And when I come down, I'm gonna thicken that and then just color that in. Up and around. I'm gonna thicken my edge. Thicken my edge. And you guessed it, I'm gonna do my tracing, my little circles of black around my flower. Add some dots in there. I like the dot look too. Right, make sure you do your leaves. So if you've had too much coffee, you can still craft and make art, right? So there's the P. I'm gonna do my carrot next, will be my second P. This one's gonna be really tall and skinny because it is a tall and skinny carrot. So we're gonna make that really tall and skinny P. So I'm gonna thicken this in. I'm gonna thicken the down part of that one in. And maybe we will put like a little serif on that P. And then I'm going to trace my carrot just like we've been. Trace and have fun. Take your time, let your kids get in there and really create. One more, and then we're gonna put this together. So we have our Y, and my Y I'm gonna do in a cursive style. If you would like to learn more on brush lettering and hand lettering, please like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Facebook. And I also have hand lettering books. I will link those in the description box below. And come back for more lettering art projects. So I'm thickening those down strokes. I'm just gonna thicken this, the thin line just a little so that it stands out a bit. And I'm gonna do my flower outlining. See, I love those little wiggly lines. We're gonna do some wiggles on our leaves. Okay, now we're gonna put this all together. And this is where you're gonna have to measure the space that you're putting this in. We kind of want to have this, the string long enough. But basically what we're going to do, oh, I forgot to put my hole punch on the Y. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna hole punch the top of that flower. Okay, so then we're basically, I'm gonna start in the front. Wherever you start is fine. And I'm just gonna feed my string, my ribbon, my yarn, whatever I'm using. And I'm just gonna feed that through my banner. Make sure you measure or make sure you leave your string long enough to be able to hold all of your pieces. So finish stringing and then I'll meet you back here. When you finish stringing them all on the twine and it's long enough to fit where you're going to hang it, just tie some loops at the end of each side so you can hang it either over a nail or however you're going to hang it. And then it's finished. Take a look at this. It ended up to be so cute.